Welcome to Backyards and Bevvies. Grab your favorite bevy, pull up a chair, and enjoy the ride. Hey, B&B fam. This podcast is sponsored to you by BetterHelp, H-E-L-P. Is there something getting in the way of your happiness? I know when I traveled the world, I had many days where BetterHelp's worldwide service of licensed professional therapists could have helped me speak to someone no matter where I was in the world about whatever was happening with my life, and with zero judgment. With their ability to match me with a therapist that best fits me, I know my mental health would have been way better back then. Believe me, I needed it. But I'm here to share a way for you to take back control of your mental health by telling you about BetterHelp's awesome services they have for you to talk with a pro about your life through their app or just online. Whether it is a video session or some simple messaging, their team is here to help. I went to check out the app for myself just to see how easy it was to use, and after a series of questions, I was told I would be able to start matching with a therapist in under 48 hours. And what is super rad is that it's affordable and they even offer financial aid too. So come join the 2 million users that have already been helped and gain back control of your mental health by visiting betterhelp.com/backyards for 10% off your first month. Remember, BetterHelp is therapy done securely online. Don't forget to use the special code BACKYARDS and let BetterHelp, H-E-L-P, help you to start living a happier life today. And we're live.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning. Welcome to Backyards and Bevvies.
Yeah.
It was raining.
It was.
It's
very wet outside still.
Yeah. This morning it was pretty wet, so we decided today was an indoor one. Plus, you are going on 34 weeks.
Mm-hmm. If we were 38 weeks, we'd have a baby.
True that.
Yeah.
Wow. But by the time this airs, we'll be at 36 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're
getting close. Real close.
Little turkey is almost here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited, though.
Getting browned in the oven.
Putting the final butter touches on it. It's really cool. Yeah, over the last year, we've been growing with the audience, and obviously they've seen you grow a bun in the oven and heard. If they don't watch, they've definitely heard, and if they've only seen us on the social medias, then they've also seen. And it's brought up a lot of interesting things between us, and one thing it's brought us is I feel like it's brought us closer.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously emotionally.
Sure.
Like that's just, I feel like we say obvious, but I think each relationship is different.
Yes.
I have definitely taken on a new role as a person, and I feel like because of family and then faith and changing careers, there's been a bunch of things that could have been very catastrophic, and I think sometimes people have a hard time with pregnancies. It's a lot to take on. You have a lot of responsibility.
You do.
For the next 20 years, ish, give or take a year or two, you're responsible for a human.
Yeah.
To help them maneuver through the universe, through the world, to be hopefully a good, loving, caring person that contributes to society.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are involved with it. So I definitely can say that it's grown me in a good way.
Good.
And it's brought, like I said, it brought us closer emotionally. But one thing it's brought us is physically. I think of you as a very beautiful, attractive person already.
You're
clearly
cute.
I married you,
you.
Or you married me, or however you want to look at it.
We married each other.
We married each other. You're stuck with me.
Happy to be.
I wasn't tearing up there, nothing at all.
Sure you weren't.
Had something in my eye. But I think you have a very, very, very beautiful look as a pregnant woman, though.
You're very
and that's
sweet.
not a made up thing. There is something very attractive about it, and maybe it's because we are married, and maybe it is because we share in something together that is so deep and valuable and epic, and so many other words to describe it.
Yeah.
I think looking at you though daily, we always go through this little routine in the morning where I've woken up, I've already worked out, and, you know, I'm about to shower, and you're like, row, row. You give me like a little row, you know, you give me like this little tiger row. And I'm always like, oh, stop it. And then, you know,
like that's mine.
And then the reverse, I do the same. I'm like, you know, you stand up from the bed, or, you know, you kind of like waddle up or wiggle up, or
I am at the waddling stage 100%.
But instantly, though, there was a different you that I saw. And it's a mother thing, maybe it's just a husband wife thing. I don't really know. And so this episode really isn't going to be dedicated to something that is solid physical evidence of why someone is attracted to someone else, or why people tend to go down certain paths with compliments and taking compliments. But I thought it was really interesting because I've always struggled with taking compliments. I've been really good with giving them out, and sometimes I've been too good with giving them out.
Like, were you actually being sincere, or just throwing out a compliment to like maybe get something you wanted?
I think now closer to reality in the last 2 years, not so much the latter of what you said, but definitely back in the past, like, oh yeah, you're blah 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 blah, or that was amazing, or you name it,
right?
Just so I could get my way,
right?
Of course, manipulation, beautiful.
I don't know about beautiful, but yes.
It's a very evil poetic concept.
Yeah.
You know, because you can be very cunning and
for sure,
and very sly and very epic, or not epic, but very sensual. There's so many aspects behind it that make it look beautiful, but it is truly like some evil,
devious,
devious things deep in there. But nowadays, you know, we go through this routine every morning, and there for a hot minute, it was like, no, stop it, I'm this, or I'm that, or no, you're just blind. And we say these things as I think, would it be not an excuse, but we're like a safety net.
We're kind of like deflecting.
Yeah. Like, we don't want to believe it.
Right. Well, it's so hard to see yourself the way somebody else sees you.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, the way that your spouse, who hopefully is head over heels in love with you, sees you. You know, it's like, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm not seeing all of the compliments that you give me, because I'm focused on how, you know, different my body looks from when I'm at my normal size and weight and all of those kinds of things. But you pointing out different things about my body now that are attractive to you while I'm pregnant definitely helps reshape the way that I view myself.
Yeah. I look at you, way different. But then again, we both would look at a pencil on a table and draw it two completely different ways. And it's just because of how we're situated. You know, like shadows, light, how we're
angles,
standing,
everything,
you know. And I've always been super hard on myself for multiple reasons. I think I've just always struggled with low self-esteem up until maybe 10 years ago. But then my self-esteem built not on a good basis. I built it on the fact that I could get whatever I wanted. I figured out how to manipulate everything around me, as opposed to using it to benefit others to build them up.
Right.
I was only building myself up, which is, you know, definitely a selfish thing to be. And I got really good at giving compliments, but I wasn't good at ever taking them.
Right.
And I don't know. There's something very, very deep inside of us. I think that I'm not a psychologist. This, you know, like, again, this is no episode on hard facts. This is just something I thought would be interesting to talk about, because I think we all struggle with it, and why we struggle with it is, you know, that's each person's own battle to go through that. I do think, though, that seeing and listening and reading and really honing in on how to better our lives, you know, as a family, because, you know, before we go outside of this house and try to preach to other people, you know, or even speak to other people about,
we need to practice it first.
We have to truly believe it, you know. And I think part of believing things, or having faith, or, you going down those roads of hard travel is knowing deep inside yourself that you are worth something.
Yes.
And I think that you could look at the court system in a weird way, and however you feel about the court system right now, that's not the point. But back in the day, it was written that each person had intrinsic value, and each person had the ability.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly, but it's not. We're not talking about anything like that right now. But what it's stating, though, is that you are worth something. Like even if you don't feel it or see it or think it,
your life is worth what it costs to try to rehabilitate you into becoming a better citizen.
But even if you look at it like a scale of 0 to 100, 100 being like the ultimate person, which no one is,
right?
And 0 being, let's just say, dead.
Yeah, the very, 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 very worst.
1 would at least mean that you have a chance to go to 2. And
so, you can go up.
So that means that there is something inside of you, and who sees that? It might not be you, but when someone tells you like, hey, dude, like, that was really good. You shouldn't just dismiss it.
Yeah.
I think that that's the point behind of all of this that I want to get at today, is that dismissing it makes it worse and gets you closer to 0.
It does. And it also makes the person who has paid you that compliment, which let's just assume that they're being sincere, it makes them feel lesser than because you're completely deflecting and ignoring what the nice thing is that they're saying about you.
Exactly.
Instead of thanking them for that.
Yeah. And, one day you asked me, like, how could a person get to that, to do something bad, right, in life? Well, I think the closer you are to 0, that's how bad things happen. And it's because you don't have value for yourself. You don't see value in yourself, so why should you see value in anyone else?
Yeah.
So looking at our lives, we're not 100.
No,
I don't even know where we would actually land, but I know that we're way above the half point. In the sense that, when we look at what we're doing, first off, we're alive. So there's a
grateful.
That's there's a giant step there. But then, we're able to share with each other things. It's like, if you are having a bad day, maybe the compliment isn't, oh, you're beautiful. That's an easy compliment.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be about looks.
No.
There's so much more intrinsically.
Well, I think a lot of it could do with just something as simple as, hey, thanks for cooking breakfast this morning. That was a really good breakfast. Like, something that simple can set someone's day off in the right direction.
Just showing appreciation for someone else.
Yeah, so compliments don't always have to be a physical thing. It could be, hey, like, last night when you were like really tired and we were just laying there and you shared that little bit of info with me, like, thanks for opening up.
Yeah.
There's too many places where I think as people we start to forget that we're people. We all have feelings. We all have emotions. We all have shit going on in our lives that is really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And then on top of all the other shit that's going on in everyone else's lives around us, navigating this world is really, really difficult.
It is, absolutely. So even on a great day.
So taking the compliment, though, not only allows you as a person to take your 1 and turn it to a 2 potentially, but it allows that person that was maybe at a 2 that gave the compliment not to go down to a 1 because you dismissed it.
Right. And
so it's, it is it is a shared process across time.
For sure. And I think it's important when you do receive a compliment, if you are deflecting it, looking internally at why it is you're deflecting it. Like, for a long time, I was horrible at taking compliments, like high school, college, all of that. It's something that I like actually actively had to work on. And it took me really stopping and thinking about, like, okay, well, is it that I really don't believe or trust this person who's giving me a compliment? Okay, no, that's not it. So then why is it that I don't want to believe what they're saying about me? Is it because I really view myself that differently from how they may view me? Okay, that might be part of it. But is part of it also never wanting to appear prideful or conceited? Are you trying to appear humble.
Yeah.
So you really have to look and see like, okay, well, trying to appear humble or something like that and trying not to appear prideful, it doesn't mean you can't take a compliment. Just say thank you.
100%.
Even if you don't totally agree with the compliment, you can just be like, oh, thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
100%.
And that's going to make the other person feel validated.
Yeah.
And then you can move on.
Yeah. I think that, there's a lot of great athletes that show that all the time in the sense that they are great athletes who had the game-winning catch that took their team to all these places. And what do? They turn around and thank their team.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's not, you can enjoy a win. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with being excited for yourself for doing something good, or even like looking at a project that you've been working on, or staying late one night and working on something just a little bit extra and saying like, man, that felt really good. I did good today. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not being, like you said, prideful. That's not being over the top. You're not being conceited. What you're doing is you're being real. And I think real trumps conceitedness all day long.
Right.
Because the person giving you the compliment knows they're giving it to you because you did something well.
Right.
You're not just over there gloating like I do when we play dominoes. But I'm that good.
I beat you earlier, so I don't even want to hear it.
But I think that's a great point, though, is that we're terrified to have others look at us as though we're not humble. But the people that aren't humble, they don't care though.
Right.
So you're not going to win with them, and so don't go to their level. But at the same time, don't turn the compliment down.
Right, and I think part of it is also, I feel like once I stopped worrying so much about what other people thought, I was much more capable of receiving a compliment and seeing myself in the way that another person saw me, because I wasn't worried about what their opinion of me might be if I agree with what they say about me, or if I say thank you or something like that. You have to let go of all of those worries and just be in the moment and take it for what it is.
Yeah.
And it'll make your day.
Yeah, it will make your day. There is something, I think, very genuine about someone who can take a compliment, not turn around and give another compliment right back.
Right.
Because I feel like that too at the same time is like, okay, just because I complimented you, I didn't need you to make me feel any better about myself. Like,
right. I think that's where
to
sincerity really comes into play. Like if you were to say a compliment to me like, oh, I really love your outfit today. And I'd be like, oh, thank you so much. I love your shoes. Like, if I really don't love your shoes, I shouldn't say that, because even if you're the best actor in the world, that sincerity, the false sincerity is not going to be pulled off.
Yeah.
But if you really mean it, it's okay to turn around and give somebody a compliment back. Just don't do it just for the sake of tossing around a compliment because, like, oh, well, they said something nice about me, so now I have to say something nice about them.
I think a lot of it, too, it boils down to paying attention and listening to what it was actually said to you. Like, just because I thank you for breakfast doesn't mean you turn around and say, oh, well, thanks for going and picking up the dog shit outside.
Like, although I do thank you for that.
Well, but that's not like, that's a task,
Right.
There's something different about, like, truly giving a good compliment, I think, than just saying, oh, thanks for, doing what you do. Like, there's certain things that, like you said, what's the old, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything
at all. Yeah.
But that's a little far, but at the same time, it goes down that same path, Like if when you say, oh, you look really handsome today, if I just say, oh, you too.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well,
really,
did you actually take in what I just said?
Yeah.
Because I meant it.
Yeah, because now you're just saying you too, and I'm not handsome. I'm...
Right. Yeah, not the same.
Yeah, you're just... To talk is not like anything special, but if like you're like, oh, hey, you look really handsome with your hair done like that, really means something that's just a overall compliment. Because I think there too, like I struggle with my midsection. That's like my biggest downfall to me. Probably because I love pizza and I love hamburgers and all the stuff that
Where the carbs hang out.
they land in my midsection. They just hang out there. That's where the party is. And I know that I look way better now than I've looked in many, many years. But it's one of those, like, I look in the mirror and I'm like, chubby, tubby.
You're like, ew, I'm disgusting. Yeah.
But there starts the problem, though. First off, I know I'm not.
Exactly.
So you have to have better vocabulary in your brain, and you have to treat yourself better too. Because then when you allow yourself those moments to yourself just to say, hey, look, I look better, I still know I can do better.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
Like that's the difference. So then when the compliment comes, like, and you walk around the corner and you're like, hey, you look really good today. Like, are you tightening up on your love handles? It's like, oh, well, thanks for noticing.
Yeah, because I know you've been working really hard. I can see a difference.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, if you walked in and for the last 3 weeks you had seen me eating pizza and you did see my love handles getting bigger, don't walk around the corner and say, hey, have you been working on your midsection because your love handles look smaller?
Right.
Because then you're just defeating the purpose of then you're false advertising it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the compliment isn't worth anything.
Right.
So you really have to mean it, you know? And I think that's also the big deal is like being honest. And we've talked about being honest before. Being honest is really, really hard, but it's the most worthwhile thing in the world to do because
absolutely.
At the end of the day, if you skip on one part to that, then it's a snowball effect. Because then in a week, when I keep eating that pizza and then all of a sudden I'm up 2 pounds and I'm like, man, what the F? For the last like 4 weeks, you've been telling me I've been getting better looking.
And now all of a sudden.
Now my pants don't fit.
Right.
And I was doing everything I've been doing the last 4 weeks. You've defeated the purpose of your compliment 4 weeks ago.
Right.
So I think that there really is that underlying sense. Like if it doesn't look good, don't say it.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you can't say, hey, you look really handsome today in that suit.
Yeah.
Or hey, you know, your smile really lit up my morning. That's a bigger difference. It doesn't mean that I'm in the best shape I've ever been. Right. You're just being honest, dude.
Right.
So I mean, does that make sense in the verbiage or
yes, it definitely does. It definitely does make sense for sure. And I think, you know, one of the things, like I said a minute ago, that I had to work on with myself was like looking at myself and really figuring out how to accept a compliment and stuff. I mean, that's something that you and I worked on together with you as well. And with your midsection and stuff like you've been talking about. Like I would give you a compliment and you would immediately deflect it and be like, no, I'm this, I'm that, or whatever, and putting yourself down. And I would have to stop you and be like, hey, say thank you, take the compliment, look at this picture of you from a year ago. Look how far you've come. Look at this picture of you from a month ago. Look how far you've come. I know it's hard to see when you're looking at yourself every day and you don't really get to see the progress like somebody else does. So, you know, I think it's helpful that you and your partner are able to talk to each other that way and like really highlight like, hey, it's not okay that you're not taking this compliment for what it is. Yeah. Because it's heartfelt.
Yeah. I think you said earlier too something that was really cool. You know, we were always so self-conscious of what others think of us. But the closest people to us, we tend to block out their voice. I see this all the time on the internet with people that are, you know, they're going through something and, you know, like they're looking for validation. You know, sometimes big crowds aren't the best place to try to get a validation from, first off.
Yeah, true.
Start small. You know, it's like, you know, you can't fix world hunger tomorrow. But if you start in your neighborhood, you might
taking the right steps.
You might at least be able to take chunks out of it, you know? And I think the same with working on yourself. You know, not everybody has a boyfriend or a girlfriend or, you know, even maybe a friend to fall on. But, you know, the beautiful part about whatever you're going through is that, well, there's a bunch of groups out there.
Yes.
And I think that's a healthy place to to start to work on mental health too.
Absolutely.
You know, because it really isn't, let's be honest, it's all mental health.
For sure.
This isn't like you could be the person with the best six-pack in the world and still look at yourself and be like, I'm fat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Because it's a mental health issue. It's not
body dysmorphia.
Yeah, it's not a, and it even goes deeper into like work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, someone who's a workaholic, who's always looking for the compliments from work. Like, it's something deeper. It's not that you're not working hard, or it's not that you're a good employee.
Mm-hmm.
It's that you're comparing yourself to unrealistic abilities, or expectations, and that boils down to something deeper, and that's where I think people should start to look. And that's just me talking personally, because I know throughout the years of my existence, I've gone through so many different cases of those, but it's all the same case.
Yeah,
it's just a different.
Just
facade.
Manifesting in a different way.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'm not the best at this. Oh, I'll never be great. Oh, don't tell me I'm a good this. Don't tell me I'm a good that. You know, because it's like, well, no, you're fine.
Yeah,
you're doing a good job.
Keep at it.
Things are happening. You're still moving. You're alive. But I don't know. We tend to, as people, and to go down those paths of just like hardness on ourselves first, and then
very much so.
And then it just leads to even a harder life when we're trying to, you know, like I can look at relationships that I was in, you know, before, or even us, you know, and all you're doing is making it harder on a relationship too when you're holding unrealistic expectations.
Absolutely.
So let's just say that I'm a 5 and you're a 5, but all I want is a 10.
Yeah.
But what's my realization? The only thing that I have to go on at a 10 is looks. That's it.
Yeah.
Because that's all I'm seeing online. That's all the
right.
thing, you know, like, so, you know, like right there, you're already digging yourself into something that you don't even know what a 10 is like.
Right. Right. Well, and a 10 in looks, they could be a 0 in everything else.
Exactly. And so there's this weird perception that I'm going to get to somewhere, and then everything will be fine, and everything will be perfect, and then I'll be able to take all the compliments, I'll be able to give all the compliments, everyone's going to love me, and I'm going to be happy.
No.
But that's not the case, though.
No, it's not how it works.
The case is that I'm crazy, you're crazy. We should probably put our crazy together, but be healthy about putting our crazy together, and help each other work through hard things, like maybe it's body dysmorphia, or maybe I'm just a workaholic and I don't understand how to turn it off, or maybe I just have never been in an intimate relationship with anybody. I don't even know how to talk to someone. You know? So it's like you'll find someone or a friend, you know, like someone that's close to you that, you know, whatever they're struggling with, like, you know, me and my best friend, we talk, you know, almost every day. And it's crazy because we can still talk to this day, and there's still things that are in our lives that we can talk each other through.
Absolutely.
So it's like, it's crazy to think that it's, you know, at 39 years old, you know, we're still going like, oh man, yeah, like I should have. One cat is beating up the other cat. But
Poor Merlin.
Cat fight going on over here. They're having body dysmorphia issues. But yeah, we go through stuff, but it's really cool because as we walk each other through whatever we're going through, the only thing that we can do is be honest. And the worst thing that I could do is ever tell him that he's doing oh, dude, you're perfect.
Yeah. No, don't do that.
Oh, dude, you know what? It
also kills somebody's motivation.
Well, yeah, but like if they're going through something, the last thing that someone wants you to do is, or the last thing that they truly want you to do is just agree with them.
Yeah.
Because if they're coming to you with an issue of something, like they don't want you to just tell you, oh yeah, you're pretty. You do such a good job. You're wonderful.
You're the best.
No, be honest with them and be like, hey, look, you know what? Honestly, like, I'm not going to lie. Maybe you could do this a little bit better. And I think that's one thing.
Try doing it this way.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that I've noticed over the last 2 years with all of this, the podcast, the new career, the being a dad, you know, like being a better husband, being a better best friend to you, being a better friend in general to all my friends. The one thing I've noticed, though, is that everybody who's been honest about all the stuff that we're doing, it only has pushed me to a better place. The last thing I want to hear is someone be like, oh, I love your show. and never listened to it.
Right. They're like, yeah, I listen to it all the time. Haven't even pushed play.
Just be honest and say, like, I checked out 30 seconds. It really didn't fit me, but
It wasn't my style, but I'm proud of you.
But what you're doing though is really different and cool, and I'm sure someone out there likes it.
Yeah.
That, you know, personally, I would take that in so much better than someone being like, "Oh man, I love your show." I'd be like, "Oh yeah, which one?"
Like, okay, I actually haven't listened. That one about the stuff.
You were talking to that girl, my wife. Is she on the show? I mean, yeah, that one.
That one.
That does nothing good for anyone, because all of a sudden then that puts me in a position with whoever that is to be like, well, I'm just going to delete you.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. But
Okay,
someone
bye.
who's potentially follows us and does all the things and looks at our whatever, or maybe never looks at it, but at least follows us. And then when I see them and they're like, hey, how's your show going? I'm like, oh, it's good. At least we know that we don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, 100%.
We can talk about something way different. We don't have to like bore each other with me talking
work
about
talk.
how, because I love what I'm doing. So, you know, if you're, you know, and this is the other thing too is, and I've said this for years, before you speak up to me about something, just make sure you're ready for the answer or the conversation. Because I'm very animated and I'm very emotional and I'm very in love with a lot of things that I do. Not because I'm conceited about what I do or that I think it's better than anything what I do, but I've always felt that if I'm going to do something, I should really love it.
You're passionate.
Yeah, but I should love it and I should put my time into it. Doesn't mean that I can't fall out of love of it.
Certainly.
but a lot of the things that I've done in my life, you know, I really have enjoyed. And so if you're about ready to ask me about something, I'm more than likely going to tell you how it is. Now, the truth part, that's come over the last few years. But even then, I can remember back in the day, there was times where I was actually truthful and would tell people like, well, if you're going to ask this question, just be ready for the answer. Because I maybe I'm not telling it to you because I don't want to ruin whatever we have, but at the same time, that it wasn't healthy either.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So
you're not doing anybody any favors that way.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's always interesting to me how this dynamic works. You know, you and me have definitely fallen into a very healthy dynamic in our relationship.
It took work.
It
took a lot of work.
Took a lot of work. I mean, it still takes work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
absolutely.
we wake up some mornings and I know that. You know, last thing I want to do is wake up and work out and do all the things and then have to like deal with life.
Yeah. Some days you just want to not deal with anything.
I don't, you know, sometimes
not an option.
Sometimes it's not you, and sometimes it's not the kid, sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes I just want to be like, F it.
I just want to stay in bed all day.
I don't even think it's that sometimes. Sometimes I just think I just want to like, I'm like, it's not easier. So don't go do it.
Yeah.
But this isn't easy either. But at least I don't have to beat myself up at the end of the day when I said I didn't do anything.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a hard thing. But then I have you, which has made that dynamic really easy because you do tell me things that are very encouraging. And I think that is really, really great in our dynamic, which makes me then want to look at the people that I'm around and look at what they're doing and try to encourage them as well. Because, you know,
bring everybody up.
Yeah, it's though we're not all on a team, we all are on a team in a certain way. You know, we all coexist together. Yeah.
It's like that Jordan Peterson quote we saw last night on TikTok about how like you're responsible for yourself, but you're also responsible for everybody around you.
Yeah.
Strangers, people you know.
Yeah.
Everybody, because what you do or say to one person will inevitably affect their day. Snowball one way or another. Yeah. And then that ripple just keeps going and going and going and going.
Yeah. It's incredible to me what a kind gesture can do. And I think that kind gesture too is part of what we've been talking about is the compliment. You know, it's not the server that's at the store or at your restaurant. You know, you don't know what they're going through. They could be having the worst day of their life. They're, their family member could have died, or, they could have had to put their cat down before they went to work that day. And the only reason I went to work is because they have to pay to put their 2 kids into daycare.
Right.
And then they also have to go pick their 2 kids up and drop them off at, their other family member's house who doesn't really,
go to a
like
second
kids.
Job or do whatever.
And all they're doing is they're just trying to live. And so your compliment to them doesn't have to be fake.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't have to be rude.
Right.
or I guess there is no such thing as a compliment.
But
you don't have to be rude. If someone's not doing something good, doesn't mean that you have to like totally blast them out in front of the entire restaurant and put them on TikTok and make a whole scene out of it. It's like, look, there's Karens out there. Look, there's also people who are...
Everybody has a bad day.
Who claim to not be Karens, who are Karens. It's like every person has like something that is not okay with them.
For sure.
And other people would be like, oh, geez.
Compassion goes a long way.
Here's Phil doing that thing again that no one likes, that he thinks is hysterical. But having that compassion to, but then
goes a long way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always interesting to me because I know that, like as we are growing a little human and now we're growing a second little human, there's a lot going on there.
There is a lot going on.
And part of it is, how you're feeling too. One of those people is relying exactly on how you feel every day. That little body in there is 100% affected by what you do, what you eat, how you think. I mean, you are connected if there's any level to be connected to something, there it is, right?
Yeah,
there.
we are more connected now than we ever will be.
Ever.
Once she's born.
Yeah. And so taking care of that is partly taking care of your internals, your health, your mindset, your spiritual, your
emotional,
physical, all the things, and it's showing too. I think, because our first pregnancy, I was working that job and there was still a lot of stress in life. We weren't sure where we were going. I was working on this project that was like, I'm going to let you do this because I have faith in you. And that was really nice of you, but it still is stressful to think about that.
Yeah. Well, we were also still in the middle of a pandemic and we weren't sure if I was still going to have a job. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
But there were plenty of stressors for sure. Besides just being pregnant and feeling like crap.
Yeah. Move your mic down just a little. There you go.
Hello.
You've like sunk into your chair.
My back.
I know.
Pregnancy.
I know. Well, we're talking about
Trying to get comfortable.
You're pregnant? Oh my gosh.
Surprise.
But I think that we can see definitely a different you this go around. Well, that was our first 2, so it's a little more stressful, I think. This one's like, by the time we have our 8th or whatever, it'll be whatever. Kid would be like, well, yeah, we're good.
We'll be adopting some of those for sure.
Number 1 is watching number 8. We're good.
We're fine.
We're going to go play some golf.
See you later.
But that, I think partly some of it too is though that our mindsets have changed because, we've switched what we're watching. We're trying to speak more positively, not only externally, but internally. Someone had said something recently too, and what's so funny is like we look at memes, and memes are so funny because they're just these random pieces of artwork with words on them. But some of them can be so impactful to your brain and some of these little TikToks too. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, I can't believe you're on TikTok," or "Oh, the Chinese are watching you." It's like, you know what? Yeah, sure, maybe they are, but I'm also getting a lot of really, really inspiring
positive things out of it. Yeah,
so much positivity out there. Sure, there's a lot of negativity out there, but it's like the same people that are like, or any person that can be like, "Oh, well, there's evil inside of that organization." You're like, well, yeah, there's evil everywhere.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Everywhere. Who had something really crazy to say that was this is by no means a slight at him, but Chris Rock was saying, he's like, oh, how he said that Will Smith was wearing a mask for 30
Yeah,
years.
how he played the perfect man for 30 years and then took his mask off.
It's interesting to hear that because, so many times we look at people when we are idolizing them and we think, oh, look how perfect they are. I wish I was like that. But again, it boils down to you don't know what these people are going through internally.
You're only seeing
a fraction.
A filter. You're only seeing what people want you to see.
But what I love about some of these motivational things is they're not built around one person. It's like you could dissect the Bible all day long. And sure, there's some stuff in there that people won't like on this side. And there's some stuff that people won't like in there. But then there's some stuff in the middle that is just for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how you slice it. You can't break it down to say that is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's some of the info that's out on TikTok. No matter how you slice it, no matter what you think about that person, whether it be like a Conor McGregor or this person or that person, there's some words that just get spoken out there that are so deep that you're like, I need to listen to this. And that's one thing that I've done is I've actually started to listen more and read more and try to intake more than to speak more, because it really does start to boil down to what's going on in your brain and your heart and how those are interacting, because your soul is it's a yin and a yang. There's chaos and there's order inside of you, and you are going to go through moments where you need the order to outweigh the chaos.
Yeah.
And then vice versa. You need the chaos sometimes to wake you up from the order. And that's that hard stuff that people don't want to hear. But that's what's out there nowadays is beautiful, because a lot of that stuff is pushing you to be more open, listen and to yourself as well, like be like, what's the matter with you? What is really truly driving you to be in the spot that you are? Can you change it? Can you talk about yourself in a healthier manner, which then in turn will help you look at the day a little bit better?
Yeah.
Instead of picking up the phone in the morning and looking at all the negative stuff on the news.
Or comparing yourself to everybody on Instagram or whatever.
First thing in the morning, wake up and give gratitude to just the day.
The fact that you are alive and breathing.
Yeah, you know how many people
get to start again.
Don't wake up in the morning? And we've heard that. Some of this stuff is I'm just repetitively saying it because I hear it so often, and it's so true. But you know what it does is it slowly changes your perspective.
It does, absolutely.
And it slowly helps you to be able to take a compliment. It slowly helps you to give a compliment. It slowly helps you to look at people with a little more compassion. It slowly helps you to go out in the day and look at more positive than there are negative.
Absolutely.
I'm by no means some sort of I don't have blinders on to where I can't see that there's negative around me.
Right.
But if I look past it, I can see a lot more beauty than I can dark nowadays. Yeah. And I think some of it too is, changing what you're doing. If you're doing something you don't like, you're the only person that can honestly say you don't like it. No matter what anybody else around you says, like, oh, dude, that is so cool.
It's like, yeah, I hate it.
But if you hate it, don't do it.
Do something else. Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't live a life that is a lie only to appease people who
or impress people
in 10 years might not be around.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just it's mind-boggling to look back on some of the things that I did to potentially impress
people that don't matter.
That were never in my life and who aren't in my life now. And it's crazy to think about it. But at the same time, though, if I would have never gone through some of those things, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Absolutely.
So there is this crazy yin and yang, chaos, order, whoever you want to talk about, good, evil,
Yeah, you have to find the balance.
And it's just crazy. And, I talk about him a lot because when I row, I listen to him a lot. But I listen to a few different people regularly, and sure, and I've said this before, they have opinions that maybe I don't agree with everything that they say, but there's certain things that they say that you just can't waver on.
Right.
There's just certain things that are out there in the universe that you just have to be like, shit, that's true. And Jordan Peterson is that person, whether you like him or not, he's going to rub you wrong at some point. He's going to say something that's going to strike something inside of you that you're going to say, yeah, that is me. And I think the biggest thing that he's really given me is the ability to look at this situation with family, what we're building, and we literally started fresh. We literally
Mm-hmm.
threw everything out and said, okay, we're going to start at the bottom.
Yep. We're starting from the very beginning.
We're at 1. We're not dead.
Mm-hmm. We are at 1. We have a long way to go.
We are not dead. And instantly is like, well, we have a house, so we're at 2.
Mm-hmm.
We have each other, so there's 3.
Mm-hmm. We have 3 cats.
We have 3 cats that love us, we think.
Yeah, as far as we can
They
tell.
want to murder us at nighttime, maybe. There's 4. All of a sudden, we were at 10.
Mm-hmm.
We eat every day.
Yeah.
We have cars that take us to wherever we need to go.
Mm-hmm.
We're able to put gas in them.
Yeah.
Like seriously, all
we
of
have
a sudden,
air conditioning. We have
we have
comforts
we have
that other people do not have.
We have Wi-Fi's. Wi-Fi's.
Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi's. We have computers. We have all these things. Suddenly we're at 15. Next thing we know, we're at 20.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, life starts looking really, really bright.
Mm-hmm.
Instantly.
Gratefulness.
Within one day.
Goes a long way.
Within one day, you're able to do that.
Yeah.
Then suddenly it's like, all right, now let's get to the nitty gritty. Hey, you've been waking up every day for like 10 days straight now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not perfect yet, but I can see it in your chins that your chins.
Your fewer chins.
Your fewer chins are getting fewer. And that's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is though exactly what we're saying about those compliments. It's not about the big things at first.
Mm-hmm.
Those will come.
They
Those
will.
big compliments will come. The cheers will come.
Mm-hmm.
It's about getting through the little details.
Yeah.
Like, hey, congratulations on learning how to use the dishwasher.
Good job.
Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for doing the dishes.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for, making the bed.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we try to do every day.
Mm-hmm.
We don't always do it because...
I would say we hit it like 98% of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I on out of 365 days...
I feel like we're like...
340.
No, even more than that.
Nah.
I would say we're at least 350.
340.
Mm.
In
It's a
between
very
350.
conservative estimate.
But that right there, we know, and I read this in I used to make my hotel bed, which was crazy
Mm-hmm.
to think like, why? You have
Just staying in the habit.
just staying in the habit. And it really wasn't.
Have something nice to come home to.
Yeah. And there was an admiral who talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody has their own take on it. You could probably look at any of these internet gurus, motivational speaker types, and they have something that's like that. And his was, make your bed every morning. It just gives you
You've
something.
accomplished one task immediately at the start of the day.
That is it. And that is those simple things that slowly build your confidence, which then
Mhm.
allow you to, if you're terrified of public speaking, just go speak in front of one person.
Mm-hmm.
Take that step first
Then try 2.
and try 2. Because there's a lot of people who would be great comedians.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just great motivational speakers if they could just get
out
past
of
the fear.
But take those compliments when people tell you, like, "Oh, you should look into this."
Mhm.
You know why I think that, and we can end towards this, but you know why I think that's like that is because that will push you to your ultimate whatever you're supposed to do.
Mhm.
Because your ego will always take you somewhere else.
Yes,
Your
absolutely.
ego will push you to do the things that other people want,
Mm-hmm.
not what you want, but what you think other people think you want.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that, but that's true though, because if you're getting false compliments about, like, oh man, you're so funny at the bar.
Yeah.
Where's that going to take you?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. But if you are hearing like compliments like, hey man, like you're really, really good at telling stories.
It's like seeing, like back when American Idol first started. It's like seeing the people who should absolutely never, ever, ever attempt to be a singer go on there and be absolutely crushed
By Simon?
when they're told that they have no talent. Everybody around them has been telling them that they're great. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You are building something, you're building somebody up and having them think that they are capable of something
Mhm.
that they are not capable of. And
Yeah.
who knows what incredible talents they do have that they've been ignoring because they've been focusing on
Mhm.
this other thing that they think they're capable of
Yeah.
because everybody tells them they can.
Exactly. Honesty.
Goes a long way.
It does. I mean, I think we've definitely hit it on the head that when you're out there giving compliments, give real compliments.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest about them. Even if you think that, like I can just say it with the podcast again. It's like, that's an easy one because it's what we do almost every week.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I want is to have someone tell me like, oh, it's a great podcast, but to have never listened to it.
Right.
It helps me in zero way.
Mm-hmm.
So just, like that's one of those things. The honest part would just to say like, I don't listen, so I couldn't tell you, but good on you. Keep trying.
Yeah. Proud of you for doing it.
Yeah. Because that right there is good on you for doing something that is different.
Yes.
But at some point, like someone will have to be honest and say like, hey, your show sucks.
Yeah.
Or
your show's great.
Or your show's great. And I think right now, sometimes you're in the middle. Sometimes you can find yourself where you don't really get, you put yourself in a place where it's just going to take time too to either figure out like, we need to hang this podcast up or
keep going.
But for right now, we're going to keep going.
We're going to keep going. 100%.
So, I don't know. I can say from personal experience, like all the things that we talked about today are all the things that I have truly struggled with.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the best route, the best route to go down.
Either way.
But I know that if you don't have someone to talk to, like there's someone out there.
You can talk to us.
You can chat with us online.
Yeah.
Obviously you can go to BetterHelp, but
yeah, BetterHelp would be a great resource.
This isn't an ad either. I just, but places like that didn't exist when I was younger. I remember I went to a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it because I had to sit there and tell him stuff, and it didn't feel comfortable to me.
Yeah.
Mainly because I felt like it was like why I was there wasn't a legit reason, but that's another episode.
Yes. We'll get there.
But yeah, so I hope everybody listened to this and maybe it sparked something inside of you, or maybe it helps you speak to someone next to you a little bit differently. And at the end of the day, I mean, we're all in this together. And I don't know, let's have some
Just
fun.
know that your life is a gift, and we are grateful.
It's true
that you are around.
Yeah, I mean, even the most hardened criminal, unfortunately, their life at one point had something, had some sort of value.
Yeah. Still can.
Yeah. I one more thing about value. Sometimes the gifts that aren't like necessarily worth money are the best gifts in the world.
Yeah.
And Volkswagen, I think I read it about them. They when the patent for the seatbelt, the 3-point, I think it was a 3-point seatbelt came out. They just gave it out to everyone to save lives, as opposed to making
incredible
money on it. But that right there is, a testament to their belief in the fact that, they weren't looking for accolades and all these things. They were just they wanted to help.
To do the right thing.
Yeah. So there it is. Awesome. I think that just is a statement to the human nature of people. Is like sometimes the blessings that you give out to others are what internally will make you feel better.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
All right, enough rambling from us today. You keep your rambling down over there.
Okay, I'll do my best.
You never stop on this show.
No promises.
Talk.
Yada, yada.
All the talking.
Yada yada.
Well, if you haven't seen, we have liquid IV right here.
It's delicious. I chugged mine. This watermelon flavor, I like it.
It is actually really good.
Yeah, I really like. I think the watermelon might be my favorite so far.
And I like watermelon drinks in general. But yeah, this watermelon's pretty dang tasty.
Pretty yummy.
Use the code Backyards and Bevvies. I'm gonna put it right here. No, I'm gonna put it right here on the screen. No, I'm gonna put it right here
in the comments,
which are down here,
down below.
But if you're listening to us, they're in your ears. You have to look at your. I almost said iPod.
Whoa.
Those are
they don't even make them anymore.
They don't?
I don't think so.
That's crazy. Remember it used to make the clicking noise?
Yeah. Oh, I still have a first generation iPod.
Lame.
You're very rude.
Wonder what it's worth.
Probably nothing. It's beat to hell.
Has 3 songs on it. Has 3.
It pretty much, I'm pretty sure it has one Paramore album on it, and that's all it could store.
No, it could store more than that. Fun
good
times.
Okay. Stop it.
Copying me.
Okay, bye.
Cheers and bottoms up.
Cheers and bottoms up.
Have a
Thanks for
wonderful
joining
week.
us.
Always. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bottoms up.
Bye. See ya.
See ya.